Good afternoon, BookTube. It's Will here. Apologies if you can hear background noise. I'm actually in the office at work, so I just filmed this quickly on my lunch break. Mainly just riffing off the idea that I left a comment on one of Steve Donahue's videos regarding the Lord of the Rings read-along, or read-through, that he was doing chapter by chapter, where he started with the Two Towers, and then went back and filled in the gaps around it afterwards. But I am actually up to a certain point now where I just feel like the comment I left the other day, I have to say. So I am on, I say my bookmarks. So I've just started Of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit, which is, as you can see, chapter 6, and it's in book 4, I believe is where we are. Chapter 1, 2, 3. Let me just find and make sure I'm at the right. I'm definitely not talking nonsense. Yes, book 4. And yeah, at this point, it was just a case of, I won't bore you with the details of it, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'm on, so it's also page 634 in this HarperCollins. I can't remember all the details I said beforehand about its publication and such. This edition, 1995. In case anybody was actually curious and can see it on the screen in any way, shape, or form. And it is getting old because it's the papers are starting to come out of it and rip and stuff. So the glue's clearly had its day a little bit, but yes, that's where we are up to in the story. And it was mainly just this point of Steve made the point very, very well, which is what's the plan? Realistically. And since it was really raised, and I'm obviously taking on board a lot more of these questions because I've not read it. I've not read it with effectively a community around it before. My previous readings and rereadings of Lord of the Rings have been done on my own. The closest I came to reading it with a group would have been reading it in high school, where me and a few close friends, we read each book prior to each film coming out. And then, to reveal a secret, we would also be truant and skip the day of school if it came out on a weekday, so we could go and see it at the cinema, which was great. Clearly the cinema folk knew what we were doing because we were kids in uniform, not in school, watching Lord of the Rings in a relatively empty cinema. But that's beside the point. So, but then I think because of that was kind of like the first time round instance of it, so we were kind of swept up in it. We also played the trading card game, so we were mad about Lord of the Rings at the time. But this time around, obviously, we're more reading it with more astute company and with very insightful and keen perceptions of various things. The distinct lack of a plan I'm finding is really chafing, because I don't understand why. It feels like I was blasphemy to say, but I feel like the point was made in, again, it was a separate thing that Steve was involved in a while ago, and I read the Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and I think it was the guys from Strip Cover Lit. Was it Adrian who said it? Who said it contains a bad kind of mystery in The Road. There's no reason why we shouldn't know that mystery. I feel like there's a little bit of that in here, where there's no reason why, considering that the Council of Elrond is like a whole day's event, and then they stay in Rivendell for a considerable period of time afterwards. Why the details aren't explained? Why are they not contained? Why isn't he directly in conversation with Elrond and Aragorn, maybe, and the other elf lords of power who happen to reside at Rivendell, meticulously going over the plan so they can at least say, this is where we're going, this is how long we expect it to take us. If we can send word back to you, we will. You may see, if you have people in the area who can relay word back, you may find us at this place at this time, roughly speaking. But if this goes wrong, it'll be plan B. If this goes wrong, it'll be plan C. but we're only going to keep that between this inner circle, for example, because Frodo could become corrupted by the ring and relay a message back. Other members of the party could become corrupted. So, you know what I mean? Some type of failsafe or concentric circles of at least who knows what to what detail. Because really now, what was the chapter called that we just read? The Black Gate is closed. And this was the same in Steve's video. They're sat within nearly spitting distance of the gate. And they're going to what? Probably not walk straight up to the gate, but some distance to the left or right of it. Scale those mountains, maybe. Like, but even from when Gandalf falls in Moria, spoiler alert, sorry, Aragorn at various points in this, very openly, just says, I don't have a fucking clue what the plan is. I don't know what Gandalf was going to do. I guess we'll go this way. It's like, even he, as far as people in the party goes, the second most well-versed person of the geography and topography of Middle-earth. If not, he's the most well-travelled. I would say Aragorn knows the most detail. Yeah, it's knowing a lot about a little or knowing a little about a lot. I think Gandalf knows a little about a lot en masse, and therefore he has like copiousness. But Aragorn obviously knows much smaller scale things. I hope that point makes sense. But either way, it just feels like the distinct lack of a plan is really, really, really unusual. And it feels like a bad kind of mystery that in the exposition dumps of the Council of Elrond, etc., etc., we don't get to see that or find out why. Why is there no... Like, Gandalf has a plan to begin with. We're going to go this way. Oh no, we'll go over the mountain. Oh no, we'll go through the Mines of Moria. Was that the end of his plan? Stage 1 complete. Part 2 of the plan is figure out stage 2. It just seems that this couples into the other point that I've mentioned on various other videos of Steve's and like 2 emails to Steve as well. Like the distance in time Gandalf takes of having a suspicion and then corroborating it. He's had such a deep amount of thought on this. If that's his process, is to needs access to law, to people, whatever it might be, to then decide what to do next. Surely at Elrond's, where everyone is, and I assume a lot of lore is kept at Rivendell, the plan should have been discovered. It should have been set in stone and known. And then, but it's just not. I don't know. This is a bit of a pointless video, but I'm just like expressing. I'm still loving the interpersonal relationships of like at the moment. I'm loving the back and forth between Frodo and Sam, Sam and Gollum/Smeagol, Frodo and Gollum/Smeagol, and then the three of them in triplicate. But the actual, there's a lot of, it seems, what's going to happen next, I don't know. And then is it Deus, I always forget this phrase, is it Deus Ex Machina? Some type of intervention point happens. And then, as Steve said in lots of his videos, we've got a plan, off we go. We met somebody, off we go. We've done this, off we go. And it feels haphazard. It's also because I'm reading it so intensely compared to previously. I think I've read it before in one fell swoop, and then I may have read one of the 3 books at various points. And also I've dipped into it before, but this is probably my second full read through without breaks. And obviously I did that little bit of lore dipping before with the Tolkien Treasury, so I've got like Tom Bombadil in the back of my mind and a few of the other things. But today just explain and add weight to very small elements like microcosms within the bigger story. So yeah, I am enjoying it, but Tolkien is not unimpeachable in some regards of his storytelling, and it's definitely a challenge. I highly recommend it though. I'm intrigued if anybody else is reading this as well and if they're up to a certain point and what their thoughts are so far. So I'd be intrigued to hear that from the community. Thank you.